The Shark Deck.
Aren't you dead?
Hello, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. It is opening day for Major League Baseball. They've got some new rules, and they did an ad campaign featuring Sebastian Maniscalco joking about the new rules.
Oh, come on, enough with the peanuts. Half the infield's allergic. And what is the shortstop doing in the outfield? See, this is the problem with the shift. Nobody's in their positions anymore. That's why I'm excited about Major League Baseball. They're putting limits on the shift. It's going to create more athleticism, more action. Game's going to be amazing this year.
Let's go Mets. There's a lot of press about Mae Martin's Netflix special. I have not seen it yet, and I'm unlikely to see it this weekend because A, baseball season started, B, MLB The Show came out, and day one when that game came out, I played it for 6 hours. So between those two, I don't know how much Netflix comedy I'll be watching. Maybe Sunday night. I tend to watch a lot of TV on Sunday night. Mae's special is called Mae Martin SAP. They talked about the rise of anti-LGBTQ plus rhetoric within the comedy sphere. Martin explained, it's always bittersweet. I wish I didn't have to talk about gender and identity and stuff because it's not the biggest or most interesting thing about me, but I did feel a responsibility because it's super important given everything that's going on and all the legislation. It's mind-boggling to me that people can look at what's going on and go, oh, this is really a dangerous time. They have specifically called out Dave Chappelle. Rolling Stone said, you name drop comedians like Dave Chappelle in your special. Mae said, when you're someone who's part of the trans community, it can feel like a lose-lose because as soon as I start talking about it, people are like, oh, those people are constantly whining. But it's also a very crucial time to present a counter-argument to the very loud people with huge platforms who are weighing in bad faith about things that have real-life consequences. It's a very difficult tone to hit because I do care about it so deeply and could so easily rant for hours about how annoyed I am. So if it's in any way helpful for people to see someone speaking about their lived experience and cutting through the endless debate about whether trans people deserve to be happy, then hopefully it's worth it. But also, it's not the most interesting thing about me, and I don't want to feel like it because I'm being forced to constantly defend my identity. Rolling Stone asked, were you ever nervous that taking up time during a special to name the comedians, Dave Chappelle, would paint a target on your back? Mae said, when I was touring the show, I tried not naming them. It just felt like I was trying to be coy. I feel confident about what I'm saying, so I might as well just name them. The main thing is I wish the straight allies with bigger platforms would be brave enough to weigh in as well. Because it's easy to dismiss queer people as being constantly up in arms about something, but with the legislation, we're seeing such terrifying real-life consequences, and they're things that affect everybody. There's such a parallel between trans rights and bodily autonomy for women and all kinds of things. I think it's time we all got involved with this a little bit. Everything will sound corny in print, but truly, comedy is meant to make people feel less alone. It's such a unifying experience. It makes you feel human and less isolated, so I hope people feel that. Dave Chappelle, I'll continue to ask you, why do you choose to have the second paragraph of your future obituary to be Dave Chappelle transgender jokes? Do something else, Dave. You've got a platform. Use it for good. The Great Outdoors Comedy Festival will come to Vancouver. Vancouver's Park Board has approved a plan to bring a 3-day outdoor comedy festival to Stanley Park. I mentioned recently I've been to Stanley Park. I've been to Vancouver. I love it. You can hear me talk about Vancouver on my travel podcast, Travel is Back. The Great Outdoors Comedy Festival, September 15th to the 17th. No lineup has been yet released. Ticket prices $69 to $399, presumably Canadian dollars. We'll keep an eye on that one. Boy, if I could find a way to get to Vancouver in September, boy, that would be pretty good. Dan Soder has kind of let it out that Billions is coming to its last season. Soder was on NBC Sports Chicago's Football Night in Chicago. Well, that's a complicated name. Soder, who plays Maffei on the show, said, Season 7, the final season of Billions, is on its way. Then he paused and said, am I not supposed to say that? I don't know if I'm supposed to say that. I think so it's fine. The host said, doesn't matter, you just said it. And Soder said, it's the final season. Chris McCarthy is one of the senior executives over at Paramount Television. He got a nice fluff job from The Hollywood Reporter. The part that interested me most was about The Daily Show. McCarthy says he's been stunned by the linear tune-in for The Daily Show. So linear is the term the industry uses for what you just consider TV. Like if you put on Comedy Central on TV and whatever happens to be on now is on right now, that's linear, right? So not on demand. Get it? Old school TV is linear. McCarthy's been stunned by both the linear tune-in, up 13% year over year. Wow, with all the guest hosts versus Trevor Noah, that's interesting to me. And by the social excitement around the rotation of guest hosts. McCarthy says it's killing it, noting that on many weeks, the social media footprint has been 10 times bigger than the show has seen in years. Well, yeah, the nature of the guest host, you're definitely going to get more of a splash. And if the ratings are up 13%, hey, what do I know? I think the plan is crazy, but I'm sitting in the basement, and Chris McCarthy's getting a fluff job from the Hollywood Reporter. So what do I know? McCarthy says he intends to wait until late spring to name a new host. He's even consulted Jon Stewart about this. He'll rely heavily on the input of showrunner Jen Flans. He has his own running shortlist, which features 3 guest hosts. He didn't name names, but said 2 people came in and exceeded my expectations, but I had high expectations, and then somebody else just blew me away. Very interesting. As for Trevor Noah himself, he's got a new gig. He'll be hosting Amazon Prime's LOL, Last One Laughing. In this version of LOL, the 6-part half-hour series will see Trevor Noah pit 10 famous South African comedians and entertainers against each other in a competition to make each other laugh. Those who break get eliminated one by one until only one comedian is left. The winner wins 1 million rand. How much is 1 million rand? $55,000. Amazon, come on, really? A $55,000 prize? Seriously? Come on. That's pretty cheap. 1 million rand that will go directly to the charity of their choice. So again, Jeff Bezos, Amazon Prime, is donating $55,000 to charity. Just want to make sure we get that out there. Thank you, Amazon. What a great contribution to the charity. Your $55,000 donation. I'm sure everyone appreciates it. Wonder how much Trevor is being paid for this. Probably $54,000? Am I asking difficult questions? I'm sorry. Trevor Noah said, I'm excited to be back home to host Prime Video's first South African original, LOL, Last One Laughing, and to have a chance to connect with my home audience. I'm equally delighted for the opportunity to be working alongside my fellow homegrown comedy stars on a show that not only entertains, but gives back to the South African production and charity communities, and I'll add to the tune of $55,000.
Welcome to How to Tickle Yourself. I'm your host, Duff McDonald.
And I'm your co-host, Matt McButter. We'll be talking to people who specialize in different ways of inhabiting their own consciousness, from artists to yoga teachers to scientists. We've even got a professional magician.
We're going to ask them questions like, what is consciousness? Why does it tickle? And what is magic anyway? Is it just card tricks, or is it the fact that your little speck of consciousness is part of a perfect possibility machine?
Find us wherever you get your podcasts and at storicmedia.com.
Hey, if you like what I do here, one of the ways to support the show is you can go to Apple Podcasts, and they're going to put the option under you to become a premium subscriber. So for $5 a month, you get the episodes ad-free, and you get them early, usually the afternoon before official release. And here, I will match Jeff Bezos and Amazon Prime. If 11,000 of you sign up to become premium subscribers today for $5, that would be $55,000. If that happens by Saturday morning, midnight, Eastern Daylight Time, I will donate the $55,000 to charity. How about that? That's an absurdly low number, guys. So you'll hear me from time to time openly say that I talk about Joe Rogan to goose the numbers. Now, the last 2 days, my lead stories were about Asko Atkatsa and Adam Sandler, and the numbers were, a little bit down. So today we're going to talk about Joe Rogan. So Joe Rogan could be in the episode title. Yes, Joe Rogan on his podcast this week said, the media has lost its hold over the narrative. Now, the media conveniently leaves out anything it doesn't want to be at the front and center in terms of things that people concentrate and talk about. Like one of the greatest examples that's happening right now is this massive protest in France. 9 million people on the street, literally up in arms. Macron in France takes his effing $80,000 watch off under the table while he's talking to people about tightening up and how this has to be done. I guess Joe is saying there's no media coverage of that. Maybe I follow different media, Joe. I've seen plenty of coverage. Joe also referenced the protests in Israel after citizens became unhappy with Benjamin Netanyahu's plans for political reform. Rogan said, and you're not hearing a peep about it, Again, I must follow different news sources than Joe Rogan. I saw plenty about that one. Rogan said, all it is, it's like January 6th. Did you see what they did? Trump's coming back, but January 6th looms large. How about the fact that the guy who's president right now can't form a bleeping sentence? He makes up words and stumbles through things, and no one says a bleeping thing about it. From the Courier, Reese Nicholson describes the Melbourne International Comedy Festival as hundreds of people having a very public mental breakdown with prizes at the end. With more than 600 acts on the bill for 2023, adding up to more than 7,000 side-splitting performances, the winner of last year's award for Most Outstanding Show is probably not wrong. The Courier covered the launch event for the Melbourne Comedy Festival and said UK comedian Jordan Gray got some big laughs with her song about internet misinformation, a tune that managed to also cover Mr. Potato Head's gender, lost dog posts, veer into a Queen song, and include an Elvis impression that came out as an impression of Cher. Mel Buttle took on physical education teachers, revealing they're actually angry people who like shorts and are unable to get into the police force. While up-and-coming performers Alexander Hudson and He Huang spoke about the impact of the festival's raw comedy competition, last year's champion Hudson, who has a disability, said her win had taken her from an audience of 10 people at an open mic to 1,000 at the town hall, a growing crowd she likes to make fun of. All right, let's see who's at the festival on Friday. Again, I'm looking at Friday because Melbourne is several time zones ahead of me and probably you. So if I do Thursday night, by the time the people in Melbourne hear the podcast, might already be Thursday night. So let's take a look at Friday. And as I've been mentioning, there's like 100 shows every night, so I'm not going to read them all off, but let me just see what catches my eye here. Just going by titles. The Fun Tone Show is at the Rubber Chicken. Join Lisa, Charlie, and Mark for lots of singing, dancing, laughs, and heaps of fun in the Fun Tone Show. Featuring some comic skits, original and well-known hit songs, you and your children will want to sing and dance along to things like the Hokey Pokey. All right, we might be a little old for that one. Plus, it's $18 to $50, and it's at 12:30 in the afternoon. Bad click, Johnny Mac. Keep going. Okay. How about Basketball Man Can Fly? That's at Kicks at 3:45. I'm clicking on the very slow-loading Melbourne International Comedy Festival website, and we'll see what Basketball Man Can Fly if the page ever loads. It has finally loaded. Why didn't you just do an edit there, John? Because I wanted you to know how long it takes the page to load. That's why. For years, Basketball Man has been a world-renowned basketball freestyler, but now he's out to prove he's a real superhero. Witness the best basketball tricks you've never seen as Basketball Man spins, dribbles, juggles, and performs stunts in this crime-fighting, family-friendly circus show. Suitable for all ages. That sounds strangely fun. Let's keep scrolling. I like the title of Ann Edmonds' show, which is Why Is My Bag All Wet? Ann Edmonds floods her bag at least twice a week, and becoming a mother hasn't helped this. Where once there was water, now there's milk. The Herald Sun gave it 4 stars, saying, rolling with the confidence and energy of a prize fighter, Edmonds is touchingly engaging. The Age said, still laughing the next day, simply a fantastic performer. 4 stars. That shows ages 15 plus. Random number there. About at 5 o'clock, Crazy Funny Asians. Each show features an all-star rotating lineup of 3 comedians. These are some of the fastest rising Asian comedy stars. All right, that sounds like a good time. And we can see the show at 5, 6, or 7. It's a 50-minute show. $15.50 to $25.50. Let's do the Australian currency exchange right now. All right, $1 Australian dollar is 66 cents in US dollars. So whatever number I read to you, you're going to divide by 2/3 in your own head. Okay. Do you need a pen? There's a Best of International Comedy show at 5:30. Best of Melbourne at 6. Daniel Kitson. I've only heard great things about Daniel Kitson. That show's called I Shall Have a Good Think When Everybody's Gone Home. 21 years after his first visit and 4 years since his last, Daniel Kitson waddles back into town with something less like a work in progress and more like a person looking for ingredients without knowing what they want to cook or whether they're even hungry. $20. Again, divide that by 2/3. Shows at 6 p.m. and noon, a 90-minute show. It is absolutely crazy the amount of shows every single day as I'm scrolling down the page here. I mean, if you can't find something to do, I don't even know how they're even holding all these shows. Like, how many rooms are there in Melbourne? Here's one called Comedy Pub Crawl. Trust the Scots to come up with the ultimate night of comedy and booze. 4 bars, 5 award-winning comics, always sells out. $50. Again, divide by 2/3. Shows at 7, 7:05, and 6 p.m. The West Australian gave it 5 stars. The Sunday Times UK said, left my face in pain from laughing so much throughout. It's a guaranteed night of belly-aching laughter. That sounds fun. Am I really only up to 7 o'clock? I've been scrolling down this page for an hour now. Here's one called S-Faced Shakespeare. 3 shows, 6:45, 7:45, 9:30. The hilarious sellout award-winning Smash It show has already sold 500,000 tickets worldwide. S-Faced Shakespeare is the hilarious blend of an entirely serious Shakespeare play with an entirely faced actor. What could go wrong? College Adelaide gave it 5 stars, saying the most fun I've ever had at the festival. I left with tears streaming down my face and a sore belly from laughing far, far too hysterically hard. And let me find one more. There's so much here. I mean, I could hand in a 4-hour podcast just reading these 2. All right, let's click on this. It is a logo of the Statue of Liberty and says the American Comedy Dream Headliners. This is at Lower Town Hall. Let's see who's on this. The Lucas Brothers, Patty Harrison, Shalua Sharp, Shang Wang. I do like Shang Wang. Now, I'm not sure these are the 4 biggest acts in American comedy, but maybe the Australians don't know better. 70-minute show, $28 to $37. Again, divide by 2/3 to convert into U.S. currency. All right, enough of that. And that's your comedy news for today. Follow the show for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your shows. See you tomorrow. All right, here's the pitch. 5 stories. They're all good news. It's called 5 Good News Stories. No negative news, just good news. Nice, easy way to start your day. Hopefully a smile. Hi, I'm Johnny Mac, host of 5 Good News Stories. You get the premise? There's 5 stories, and they're all good news. It's the number 5 Good News Stories. 5 Good News Stories. Follow the show wherever you get your podcasts.